Shalom, welcome to the Jewish View. My name is Rabbi Nachman Simon with the Chabad House of Delmar, and together with my co-host, Marc Gronich, that's with the jbiztechvalley.com and Statewide News. But we have a very special guest with us today, Mr. Doug Bullock, a county legislator from around the area of Pine Hills. Welcome, Doug, to the Jewish View.
Thank you, Rabbi. Glad to be here. Thanks for inviting me.
So, Doug, let me ask you, what drives you to want to be in the county legislature?
Well, I'm looking for transparent government and open government and all the things that you see on the campaign trail. But I'm also looking for fairness in terms of what's going on the county level, especially the privatization of the Albany County Nursing Home. It drives me to keep going when I hear we're trying to have a scheme for privatization of the nursing home. And I'm totally against that scheme, and we should keep it public. And that's what we're going to do right now. And I'm committed to that position.
Why is it a
in
scheme?
County.
Why use that word scheme? Because it seems like it's on the up and up.
Because the effort to give a private concern the right to run the nursing home requires us in the county to take out an $18 million bond and give this corporation called USG the money in terms of a loan and in terms of a grant, an outright grant. The last time I heard the grant was $8 million, the loan was 12. So, if it takes that much to run a nursing home, why can't we do it ourselves, and why can't we keep it public?
Because we're running a deficit, a huge deficit. $1 million a month it's costing to keep that open.
We're running a huge deficit, you're right, and that's because all the beds are not filled. We're at the lowest level of bed fill that we've ever been at. We've only have 215 beds, and it's been downsized, in my opinion, purposely. And that's what I've been primarily out there in the county legislators. Stop what I consider a scheme. Well,
people just don't want to go to a nursing home anymore. I mean, it's like, I know my parents said, don't ever put me in a home. They always said, I want to do whatever you can for me, keep me, at home, at private home as much as possible, at our own residential home as much as possible. I mean, now they have assisted living and they have other places that are more transitional, that makes you feel less institutionalized. And I think the Albany County Nursing Home feels institutionalized. Maybe people don't want to go to that.
I agree with you, Mark, and we're trying to put in assisted living in our new plan for a nursing home in order to keep it public. And assisted living is very important. We haven't done it yet, and we gotta do it for our elder folks that need that kind of care and that transitional care that we can give, that we're just not giving.
Isn't there some sort of compromise that the county executive proposed to the legislature, and where it wouldn't be totally private, but it would be somewhat of a public hand in it too, quasi-public-private?
Yes, we proposed that to the county executive.
I'm sorry. Okay, that's the way it was?
Legislature. Okay. That's the way it went, and that's the way it continues right now. And we're finally getting cooperation from the county executive, and I really appreciate it. He's just named a new director. That's fine with me. Mm-hmm. The old director wasn't doing his job.
Right.
I said that 2 years ago. I called for the replacement of the old director.
So have your parents been in a nursing home when they were with us?
No, but I have had relatives, my aunts and uncles.
Have been in the Albany County Nursing Home?
No, well, county nursing home in Chautauqua County, my Aunt Betty, and, and it was fine.
Yeah.
The county services are the best. The county here in Albany, the services are the best. The employees are definitely the best, and you can get that from the
Well, I know they're passionate. They come out to the public comment session and they speak out about how great they are and how passionate they are about keeping the residents as comfortable as possible in their last months or years or whatever.
I think they're passionate, and I believe they're dedicated. I believe in them, and especially from the committee of relatives of people that are in the Albany County Nursing Home are telling me that the services are the best.
You should never be in this situation, I hope not, but If you were, I mean, could you live in the Albany County Nursing Home? Could you personally spend at least 1 or 2 nights in the Albany County Nursing Home to prove a point to see how things go?
Yes, I will, but I won't drink the water in the Hudson River.
Oh, or at the PCBs in the Binghamton State Office Building, which you, Carrie, had said infamously many moons ago. I also see that you're chair of mass transit.
Yes.
That all we have is CDTA is mass transit. Is that a misnomer?
No, we have the airport authority.
I see.
In the county, we do the airport authority.
Okay.
And
so those are 2 things, CDTA and...
Right. I brought CDTA into the county committee hearings recently, and that's one of the things that we made a step forward in listening to their plans and bringing the new bus system in and bringing the natural gas buses and, you know, trying to save that money with CDTA. But the airport authority has been mostly considered in the transportation committee, mass transit committee. Mm-hmm. And so there's some exciting things going on with the airport authority.
Well, we have this merger of 2 major airlines potentially, this proposal that might bring American Airlines back to the airport.
Very important, and you know, we're all supportive of that. We also have a nice development also in terms of the Federal Aviation Commission is going to send the controllers, the air controller headquarters from down in the New York City area up to Albany.
When is that?
So we haven't satisfied that, and a decision hasn't been made. But it looks good that Albany is a good candidate for it and has the property to build the new structure on.
Within 10 years?
Yes.
That's what
maybe within 2 or 3 years. Yes.
I see, that close. Okay.
Yeah, that close.
So let me ask you this. Everyone's been talking about the high cost of this proposal, but you know, having some sort of a light rail or something going through the median of the Northway, where, you know, from Saratoga to Albany, and having a couple of stops, maybe one in Clifton Park, one in a couple of other areas accessible to Troy and Schenectady, Latham maybe, and then, you know, come into the capital, and maybe that could alleviate some of the congestion on the Northway. I mean, I know it's a huge project. I know it's large in terms of the dollar costs. I know we had the Twin Bridges problem, getting over that. But is there, you know, is it possible?
I think it's possible, and I'm an advocate of it. I think we really need rail mass transit, and we need to improve it. We're the only country in the industrialized world that doesn't have the high-speed train. Now,
well, it doesn't have to be high speed.
I know,
I
realize that, but you know, that's how backwards we are with rail.
Okay.
Let's start using it. That's my point.
Right. So, but have you sat down and tried to map out a route that the train could run potentially? I mean, have you gotten any?
Yeah, I like your route, right down the middle of the Northway, because it's public land and we could build on it, and not get ripped off on the sale of it. You know, I really think the idea is good to run it down the middle of the Northway, if we can, you know, technologically do it. If not, I think we can find another path on an old rail. You know, one of the things the county's doing too is trying to build rail trails all around Albany. And, you know, old rail trails exist all over the place. And, you know, we possibly could do it from Saratoga to Albany on an old rail trail. We have a lot of abandoned trails that are really need upgrading. I mean, they're just sitting there. One of the good things, one of the really good things Albany County's doing is completing the rail trail from Bethlehem. It's going to come from Voorheesville, Bethlehem, and come down to South Albany. And it's going to run around along the old railroad, the old D&H that used to be there.
Yep.
And you know, it's really exciting to me because that's almost a nature preserve down there with the waterfalls in the city of Albany. It's beautiful. And you know, we're finally got that going in the county legislature, and that looks like a completed thing. So, and it's, you know, we're doing the surveying now all the way down.
It would be a walking trail?
It'll be walking, bike, and running trail, okay? I don't believe we will allow motorized vehicles. It'll be, you know, just like the rest of the rail trail.
No light motor vehicles like a three-wheeler or something?
Right.
Or an ATV? Yeah.
Right, there's going to be some exclusions, but it's going to be...
That's a long way to walk. Voorheesville to Bethlehem to South Albany and
But some people might want to ride it, and it's an alternative form of transportation.
to bike it.
Or, yeah, bike
Yeah.
it, yeah, right. Bike it, ride it. You're right. Bike is correct.
Okay.
But there are bikers that would use it.
I'm sure.
And
that
it
will
will
get them off the road.
It'll put them off of Delaware Avenue.
That's right.
And thank goodness they're off of those streets.
That's right.
I mean, it's crazy to try to bike around Albany.
Oh, I know.
You're taking your life in your own hands.
Yes, and I have, yes. Rabbi Simon, did you want to?
Well, I just, I have walked on the trail. I would just want to ask, and I think that's very good, just that they have people just to get out and, you don't have to go 10, 15 minutes, even though we're in Albany, you really don't have to go like in New York City an hour to find some woods. But it's just more and more that if you have the resources that are there anyway, so it's excellent that you'd be able to, for the public to use them. And people I've gone on them and listen, there's a lot of people, like you say, I don't know, bikers, I saw a lot of walkers. It's a beautiful day on a Sunday and they could take their kids and they're going all over and walking there, so I think that's important. I mean, just the idea of the nursing home, a little bit I agree with Marc. I had grandparents that lived there and, of course I'm a rabbi, so therefore I meet, people that are sick, of course, part of the job. And so I meet a lot of people there and I don't know if there's more compassionate way to deal with these people. I mean, it's not to state, you can't make them better, medical help as much as they can, but the doctors, it's a shame, but I mean, maybe that would be the best way, maybe assisted living and independent living, just to keep people more independent as much as possible, because I know that's important for a lot of the old people.
I agree.
One of your other, your social services and conservation improvement or other committees that you sit on.
Right.
We sort of covered social services with to some extent, with the nursing home. That's like a social service thing. But are there other food stamps and other programs with the county that deal with social services?
We oversee the Medicaid and the Medicaid fraud program. We oversee anything that social services contracts with. And there are a lot of contracts, and there's probably about 4 or 5 pages every time I go to a social services committee meeting of contracts and that are going out to the various vendors. We definitely fund a lot of programs in Albany County. I'd be here all day trying to name them all.
Do you, as part of social services, the probation department, or is that crime?
That would be in a different committee, but we do oversee probation department, yes.
You do?
Yeah, the legislature does, yes.
The legislature, I know,
Yeah,
but not your
Not my
committee.
committees,
Okay.
no.
Do you have a concern about
That's
crime?
Public Safety Committee.
Okay. Do you have a concern about crime in the county?
Yes, I do.
What's your view? What do you see as the problem with the crime? Because it's decreasing throughout the county in many pockets around the county.
I want to see crime continue to decrease, and I want to see some better programs after people get out, especially in terms of getting a job and getting out with that record behind them. We need to get people out there and get them employed, and it's a very hard thing to do, and we need to spend the money, taxpayers' money, in order to see that that's done. And I think it's really important because, this country has got too many people in jail and in prisons. There's 2 million people.
But the county has fewer, I mean, it's
County's
not to
County's doing good. It has fewer people. The jail is doing real good.
Looking to other counties
other counties.
to bring in prisoners.
We're bringing them in, and Sheriff Apple is doing a wonderful job. I have nothing but...
Now, you live around the corner, across the street and around the corner from Albany High School, and Albany High School has been in the news for their crime and their upheavals. Now, is that a safe area? Do you feel safe in your neighborhood where you live?
I feel safe, but I could feel a lot safer. My neighborhood has crime, and there was just somebody robbed last week across the street. They left the door unlocked, I understand that, but you know, it happens in my neighborhood.
Yeah.
But I don't blame it on Albany High School. There's certain problems with Albany High School that I feel aren't being taken care of
Like what?
right now. Like letting the kids all go at once and, you know, not allowing
dismissal
them
time.
to have a bus, dismissal time, right, even coming into. And then they walk through the neighborhood, go down through Arbor Hill, and they go in gangs, naturally, you know, forming gangs because everybody's let go at the same time. And it gets really rowdy, and that's where some of the fights happen. And I'd like to see a staggered kind of, you know, let them go 5 minutes here, 5 minutes seniors,
Half-hour
juniors.
difference.
You know, give them different times and don't, you know.
Well, you know, the bad ones are leaving much later. Because they're staying later.
Bad ones staying all the time.
Yeah. But you know, you call them gangs. Are they really gangs, or is it just buddies just wanting to walk home together?
Buddies want to walk home together, Mark. You're absolutely right. I didn't mean to use the word gang there. No, not in that sense. But they're just ganging up. That's how I meant it.
Mm-hmm. So it might be innocent in terms of
Yes.
their just friends.
Yes.
But they're making noise, so people say,
They're
oh,
making
if you're
noise.
making a lot of noise, you must be a gang or
They're
threatening.
making a lot of noise, and it's an irritant to the neighborhood. We also
It's quality
have,
of life issue.
Right.
Okay.
We also have a serious quality of life issue with the students, you know, from my neighborhood, Pine Hills. I'm sure you've heard
Yeah.
of the issue of kegs and eggs and what happened.
Well, I'm a UAlbany alum, so I understand kegs and eggs very personally.
And, you know,
Well,
the Pine Hills Neighborhood Association, which I'm a member of, is
Yeah.
doing an outstanding job in trying
Yeah.
to stop that reoccurrence. And, you know, they have been successful up till now, but the students and, you know, we're talking about the students all together on that one street of Hudson
Yeah.
Avenue from Quail to Ontario.
Quail to Ontario.
Yeah,
Okay.
solid students, but that's
Yeah.
where it happened. And, you know, I really feel that we need more for these students to do. We got to keep them occupied other than just, you know,
Boys
trying to
will
get
be
rating
boys.
#1 for a party school, you know.
Boys will be boys.
I know.
And they're away from the home for the first time in a lot of cases, and they want to spread their wings and feel their oats, and, you know, it's one of those rites of passage.
I know.
Well, I found it interesting that when they had the kegs and eggs incident, that the New York Post wrote about wrote an editorial condemning the kegs and eggs and condemning the students, and the editorial page editor's son was one of those arrested. And he found out a couple of days later that it was his son who was arrested. He had egg on his face.
There's a new establishment going up called Jugs and Mugs.
Oh, yeah?
Madison, and the Neighborhood Association, which I'm part of, is objecting to the wording
Names?
of the name, because it's a play off of kegs and eggs, but it's also, you know, it's dehumanizing women, I think, and not a good place for a bar like that to have in a college community.
Well, they were talking about jugs in a demeaning way. I thought they were talking about the jugs. All right.
That's the thing. You can,
Like kegs and jugs
You
and
can
like-
call it any way you want. So it's wide open, you know, Mark. So, you know, the neighborhood is saying, no, it's one way, and I'm with them on it. You know, let's try and keep the calm
Okay.
and keep the sanity in the neighborhood with the students.
But let's not get too bored.
They won't, I'm sure.
So you have an event, or there's an event at the Steamer 10 company?
Yeah, Steamer 10 in the Pine Hills area. I don't have that marked down on this. I just gave you a background of it.
Yeah.
Steamer 10 is at the corner of where Madison and Allen and Western meet. It's right in
And
the,
West Lawrence and...
in West Lawrence,
Yeah.
and it's right in the middle.
Right, Allen, West
And-
Lawrence. Yeah.
And that'll be happening October 3rd.
And what is it that's happening?
It's a play, and
Called?
it's a play called Mercy Killers, and it's about the people suffering financial disaster in the healthcare system of the United States, and it's an excellent play by Michael Milligan.
Yeah.
And he's really, he's worldwide known. He's touring now, and we're bringing him here for a, expose on the American health system. And, I'm also an advocate of improved Medicare for all. So,
How do you improve Medicare?
How do you improve it? I think you got to start deprivatizing it. It's been privatized too much.
So you're more socialization. You like more socialization. More, not all, but more so.
I am for expanding Medicare, rolling Medicaid in it, improving it, getting the insurance companies out of the healthcare business, and making it like Canada's.
Really?
Okay? Making it, but an American system. We can devise our own system, and I think our system should be expanding Medicare. In Canada, they call their system Medicare. So, we need to do it in order to, especially in order to deal with the pharmaceutical industry. We can't deal with them right now and negotiate with them, but Canada does, and that's why the drugs from Canada are cheaper.
This brings me to another point, because you're retired from the state, right?
Yes.
You worked at the state labor department.
Yes.
And now you're working in the county legislature. There are some people who run for office just so they can get health care, because they don't have health care. And you have a pretty good health care package in the county legislature.
Yes.
So
I'm benefiting from getting dental coverage that I wouldn't get as a retired state employee, thanks to the county system.
Okay. So therefore, but that's not the reason, but you have a passion to help the people before your dental work.
Yeah.
Okay.
I want everybody to have that right.
Okay.
And we don't have it.
Okay, but that's not what prodded you to run for office, is to say, oh, look, I can get my teeth fixed.
No.
Because there are people, I know people, also in the Common Council, who say, I'm running for office, I'm going to pretend to be for the people, but I really need the health care. Privately, they'll tell me that.
Yeah.
And they'll say, this is the whole thing. It's not the salary, it's the health care.
Yeah.
And it's a shame that people would run for office just...
It's a part-time job.
Yes.
Both in the city and in the county.
But a full-time health care plan.
Full-time health care plan, and I like it, and
Good.
And I want everybody to have it.
I'm uninsured.
I want you to have it.
And I'm happy to say I'm uninsured, because
Okay.
I'm not part of the system. I'm not contributing to the system. When I go to my doctor and I tell him I'm uninsured, he gives me a price that's much lower than what he would charge the insurance companies.
Okay.
So he calls it, oh, we'll give you a break. But he doesn't, it's if the insurance companies are asking for X number of dollars for a certain procedure, and that's what he can charge for that, he's going to take it.
Right. I understand.
So I don't want to be part of that system.
Okay. Well,
So
I'm eligible for Medicare, and I'm enjoying it. And
Okay.
I think it's really, really good, and it's got lower administrative costs than the private insurance companies.
Mhm.
It beats them really bad in terms of what they spend as a percentage on administration,
and
economically.
how many years can you keep up this pace? Because you had a large district of staying with this. You're 69 now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So there you go. You
I'm going
got
to try and stay with it.
stay with it maybe another 2 terms, 2-3 terms.
I want to look at one more.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, you're at 77 Benson, so maybe 77. Maybe that's the
7 terms. Has nothing to do. It's just a lucky
number.
number. That's it.
Pair of sevens.
Pair of sevens. Do it.
So, is there anything else that you wanted to bring up in the last few minutes that we haven't talked about?
Well, any question you
No,
want?
I'm asking you. I always ask this question. I leave it because everyone says no, but, and then they go on for 2-3 minutes, and they come up with something.
Any special issues that you would like to see the
Yeah.
county that we haven't touched upon, something that, that you'd like to see that the county change or be better at?
Yeah, I want to see the county complete this rail trail system all around the county. It's not, you know, all around the city of Albany. It doesn't complete it yet. We've got a connection from Schenectady to Albany along the trails, but it breaks at Cohoes, and I'd like to see the connections made, and it breaks again at the bottom of Cohoes at the Watervliet Arsenal, and then it continues on to Albany. And then it goes to go around. We're finally doing, you know, we're finally getting there with the Bethlehem part of the trail. But we still got to get through the Port of Albany.
Okay.
I want to get through the Port of Albany. It's really important that we do that. And it seems like an impossible job.
Why, there's no trails there? I mean, what's...
There's no trails there, and there's no cooperation from the port people.
Well, isn't Frank Camiso tied in with the port?
Yes, and I've asked Frank to try and do something about it, and I'm
he's
waiting.
He's the majority leader.
I should
Come
probably
on.
work harder.
Yeah, work harder on him, you know? It's like
Let me work on Frank.
you're close to him.
I would really like to see it connect.
Okay, so now it's 39 members of the legislature.
Yes.
And tell me, are you in favor of downsizing the legislature?
No, I don't think it's necessary.
It's
I believe in a representative
This
system.
is the second largest or largest legislature in the state, the number of seats. In Dutchess County, that's larger than this, has like 11 or 16, you know, seats. I mean, we have, couldn't you save $1 million or $2 million?
I don't. You would not save on democracy, I believe.
Oh, okay.
You know,
So you'd
and
sacrifice.
that's really important to me.
Okay.
Specific constituencies is an issue that I've dealt with all my life, and I think it's important everybody is represented. And if you lose some representation by downsizing, I don't want it. I would like to see a new method of county executive. Maybe a county manager, but
Wow.
save some.
We came from that.
Some
We
money.
had that, and then we went to, and we
Yeah.
got Jim Coyne
Yeah, I don't want to see that
for
again.
16 years. Okay.
I just don't. Every time we do a reapportionment or redraw the
Yeah.
lines, it becomes political.
Of course, that's the
And
most
somebody
political-
gets somebody and knocks somebody out. And, I don't want to see the lines would redrawn again.
Saves money.
It'll save.
And then it saves on healthcare costs, and it saves on a lot of
Okay,
things, so
okay.
that's my thing.
Democracy is worth money, that's
Okay,
mine.
good, that's perfect, thank you.
Okay.
Okay,
Very good. All right. And Marc, you had a lot of good questions, like you always do.
thank you.
He's a
Talk
good
about it.
reporter for us. But then, of course, very good specialist at Doug Bullock. Doug, thank you very much. And
Thank
seems
you,
like you're
Rabbi.
doing very good work with the county, and keep it up. And maybe we'll go walking together on one of those trails.
Oh,
over here.
great, Rabbi. Thank you very much for having me.
Thank you very much.
Okay.